Merci, Monsieur le Premier ministre. Alors, mes chers amis, Monsieur le Premier ministre, Lisa, Prime Minister, welcome to the mighty Miramichi River. Mes chers amis, moi j'ai le privilège de vous présenter quelqu'un que vous connaissez très bien. Lisa Harris will be an outstanding member of Parliament for the riding of Miramichi-Grand Lake. I've had the privilege, Prime Minister, of seeing Lisa as a municipal councillor, as deputy mayor, as an MLA, as a provincial cabinet minister. She will fight for the people of Miramichi, she will defend the people of this riding, and she'll bring things to this riding that will improve the lives of the people of Miramichi-Grand Lake. Et j'ai tellement hâte de travailler avec votre prochaine députée. And Prime Minister, I look forward to working with our next colleague, a fabulous addition to our Liberal team. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Harris.
Well, what a beautiful day it is to be a Liberal in Miramichi-Grand Lake. Woo! Merci beaucoup pour votre présence aujourd'hui. How great it is to have Dominic here with us. And of course, our very special guest, the Honourable Justin Trudeau. My whole goal the last time he was here was that he would remember Lisa Harris. Well, this is our third encounter, and we're going to keep meeting, and he's going to keep hearing about the great people and the great riding of Miramichi-Grand Lake. And I know that we're going to get some great things done, and we're going to continue on the path that Pat Finnegan has left for us. Merci beaucoup, Pat Elise, pour votre travail. We're so lucky. And I just want to say thank you to Tony Paul this morning for taking me out and blessing me out on the water and giving me so much love and respect and telling me that I have the power within to do this and to be the voice and to do great things for all of the people right across this beautiful country. I'm forever thankful and grateful. Thank you to Regional Chief Augustine, Councillor Adam Augustine for being here, and to each and every single one of you, thank you, merci beaucoup. Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Man, it is so good to be back here in New Brunswick, back in Miramichi. Thank you for all your leadership. Thank you for gathering such an amazing group of New Brunswickers here today. How's everyone feeling? Well, I'll tell you, this past year and a half, these past 17 months have been tough, but I know each and every one of you deserves a huge thank you because you stepped up and you kept stepping up to help and support your frontline workers, help and support each other by wearing masks, by keeping your distance, by doing all the right things, and stepped up as well by getting vaccinated. Thank you so much, New Brunswickers, for leading the way in so many strong ways. But I'm here with two friends that I do want to highlight first and foremost. Dominic LeBlanc, who you all know very, very well, has been leading our Cabinet Committee on COVID, leading the government response on steering us through this as we worked across jurisdictions, as we worked with provinces, as we worked with medical professionals, as we worked with experts to do everything possible to keep you safe. Dominic has been there front and center for all Canadians the way he's always been for New Brunswickers. Merci Dominique pour tout ce que tu fais, tout ce que tu continues à faire. Mais je veux aussi présenter quelqu'un d'assez extraordinaire, someone who may be only slightly less well known to you here in New Brunswick than Dominic, even though she grew up in Atlantic Canada. Anita Anand is our Minister of Procurement, which basically means she's been our Minister of Vaccines. But procurement also involved PPE, which she stepped up on big time to make sure that we were keeping our frontline workers safe. And the experience on that demonstrated how we needed to work so hard to win contracts, to get the vaccines to Canada that we needed. And the work that Anita did is one half of why Canada is leading the world on vaccinations right now. Anita and her team stepped up and got us enough vaccines for all Canadians as of a few weeks ago. So there's no more excuses. But the other half of why Canada is leading the world on vaccinations is because of all of you, because of Canadians ourselves who stepped up time and time again to do the right thing, to protect each other. I think, for example, of a woman I met virtually a few weeks ago that Pat Finnegan introduced me to, Pauline Gauvin, who was the first New Brunswicker to get vaccinated. And that opportunity to talk with Pauline about that, to talk about how important it was to protect our most vulnerable, to protect our elderly, was essential. But you know, the challenge is now that we have seen vaccination rates, particularly amongst our most vulnerable elders, skyrocketed and protected, we now need to protect our kids who can't get vaccinated yet. Kids under 12 can't get vaccinated. So the way we protect them with vaccinations is to make sure that every adult gets vaccinated. That's why every stop of the way, I'm going to be continuing to tell people to go and get vaccinated, because we're seeing a spike in young people. We're seeing a spike in unvaccinated Canadians, which also means there's a spike in young people in their teens and 20s in hospitals right now across the country. We have not finished the fight against COVID-19, and we need to continue. Mais une chose qu'on voit à l'intérieur de crises comme ça, que ce soit la crise de la pandémie, que ce soit la crise des changements climatiques, c'est du leadership en temps de crise. On revient à nos valeurs. In a time of crisis, leaders fall back on their core values. And as you know, since 2015, our core value has been to support Canadians, to have your backs, to be there, to build a better future where everyone has a real and fair chance to succeed. That's what this Liberal government has done from the beginning with the Canada Child Benefit, with raising taxes on the wealthiest 1% so we could cut them for the middle class. It's what we did stepping up in this pandemic with the CERB, with the wage subsidy, with supports for seniors, for rents, for small businesses. Our instinct is to have Canadians' backs, and that's the kind of leadership we need to get through this pandemic and beyond. But of course, elections, especially an important election like this one, which is going to decide not just how we end this pandemic, but how we build stronger for the future, is also about choices. It's about a choice that Canadians need to make. And quite frankly, Erin O'Toole is making that choice very simple. Because we've seen it. Throughout the pandemic, he kept saying, no, we're doing too much for Canadians. The CERB is too generous. Or we're giving too many supports to young people, to seniors. We need to hold back. Well, that approach, because wealthy people were doing fine during this pandemic, so everyone should be doing fine, is exactly the kind of approach that conservative politicians like Erin O'Toole continue to push. And that's the wrong instinct in a crisis. If we needed to be reinforced on that, we just saw today that Erin O'Toole, in the pandemic, came out clearly in favor of a private, for-profit healthcare system for Canada. Shame on you. In a pandemic, no less. He was talking about this when the stories of this pandemic were how vulnerable people are made more vulnerable in a health crisis like this that we have to continue to step up for. And he's saying, no. I've always believed in a for-profit healthcare system. We need to ensure better access for wealthy people who can skip the queue and move forward quickly. Well, that is wrong. That is wrong. Erin O'Toole, his instincts, his values are not aligned with helping vulnerable Canadians the way we need it. And we're seeing that on childcare as well. You know, one of the things that has been so important through this pandemic is the different orders of government have been working together. Et vous le savez très bien que je ne suis pas toujours d'accord avec tous les premiers ministres à travers le pays, mais nous avons travaillé ensemble sur la santé des Canadiens pour protéger les Canadiens, pour protéger l'économie, pour passer à travers de cette pandémie. Even right here in New Brunswick, I remain very, very impatient to see Blaine Higgs and the provincial government sign on to our $10 a day childcare agreement, because they're the last Atlantic Canadian province that hasn't signed on. So I know that's something we're going to work on. And I will continue to disagree with Mr. Higgs on the need to give better funding to Clinic 554 and ensure fair and equitable access to abortions for women across the country. That's something as a Liberal I will always stand for, and I do disagree with Mr. Higgs on that. But where I agree with Premier Higgs and how important it is to do everything we can to protect Canadians every step of the way. So when he mandated vaccinations for provincial public servants the way we've mandated vaccinations for federal public servants, I salute him. When we look at universities like St. Thomas and Mount Allison, who've moved forward on vaccination mandates for people to go there, that's the right sort of step, which makes it absolutely inexplicable that, yes, Mr. O'Toole is there to rip up the child care agreements we've already had, because he doesn't think families in New Brunswick or anywhere across the country deserve $10 a day daycare, and it helps the wealthiest, his tax credits plan. He certainly doesn't think we should be enforcing the Canada Health Act and ensuring safe access to abortion for women right across the country. But more than that, he doesn't even agree, Erin O'Toole doesn't agree that we need to make sure that anyone who gets on a train or a plane is vaccinated to protect everybody else, including any kids on that plane or train. He won't even make sure that all his candidates who are out there knocking on doors, talking to people, be themselves fully vaccinated. That's not the approach we need. We can't let Erin O'Toole take Canada back. We need to move forwards for everyone. Et c'est ça le choix auquel nous faisons face, et c'est pour ça que c'est si important qu'on envoie Lisa Harris à Ottawa. On a besoin d'une voix forte pour continuer le beau travail que Pat Finnegan a fait, pour continuer d'être là pour vous tous. Alors, je vous demande à tous et chacun d'être là pour avoir ces conversations dans la communauté, pour encourager les gens de se faire vacciner, but to get out there and pass that message that this is a really important time where Canadians' voices deserve to be heard. Canadians need to be able to choose a better future. They need to help choose how we get through this pandemic once and for all. And that means sending strong voices like Lisa's to Ottawa for Miramichi Grand Lake so we can continue to move forward for everyone. Merci beaucoup, mes amis. Thank you so much, Miramichi. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Look forward to seeing Lisa in Ottawa with me. Merci tout le monde.